What's up, family? It's your man, Mark Black. I've been telling you over and over again that the pale people practice whiteism not because their cleverness, savvy, wisdom, and power allows them to, but because they cannot compete with us unless they do so. So in order to show us all the truth of this statement, I'm starting a new series called the Can't Compete Chronicles. In this series, I am not going to just provide commentary. I'm going to drill down and provide actual research, conduct fact-finding investigations, and deliver real statistics and information you won't find anywhere else. I will also provide basic solutions to create an opportunity for discussion, organizing to combat the whiteists, and defeat them. In keeping with my main idea that whiteism is practiced in every area of human activity, I will endeavor to show all of you that wherever and whenever we dominate, whiteism shows its ugly face to protect the pale people from having to actually demonstrate their alleged superiority. In this episode, we will look at the Jefferson County School District in Alabama, where one city's push to create a new school district in their town clearly shows the failure of the whiteists to compete. Jefferson County Schools is fed by Birmingham, Alabama, and the surrounding cities and suburbs, one of which is the city of Gardendale. Gardendale has 4 schools in its borders: Gardendale Elementary, Snow Rogers Elementary, Bragg Middle, and Gardendale High. I took the opportunity to take a look at the population of Gardendale, and as many of you may have guessed, it is overwhelmingly populated with pale people to the tune of 88.4%. Don't worry, we'll get back to this point in a moment. Back in 2012, Gardendale citizens began asking the city council to look into forming their own school district. On September 16, 2013, the council imposed a $5 per $1,000 property tax on residents of Gardendale. This amount reflects the maximum that the city council, then headed by the now current mayor Stan Hoagland, was able to levy without a referendum voted on by the city's residents. On November 12, 2013, via a referendum, the city's residents approved an additional property tax levy of $5 per $1,000 of property value to apply to funding their own school system. That same year, then Mayor Othell Phillips was quoted in an article from the North Jefferson News as saying, "The council and I are 100% behind the school system. We're convinced that it's the best thing for Gardendale students and for the community," unquote. Really, Mr. Phillips? Why don't we take a look at the reality of the matter and see just what's actually behind the push to cleave away from the Jefferson County school system? In 2013, according to this chart, pale students of Jefferson County schools were graduating at a rate of 85% according to a 5-year cohort report. That same year, 79% of black students graduated as well. These aren't amazing rates, but there are vastly worse graduation rates all over the country, and JCS was graduating more than many other districts. Also, the pale students were definitely graduating at a higher rate than any other ethnic group. However, if you look at 2014 and 2015, graduation rates across the board rose, with the largest rise in graduation rates being black students and limited English proficient or LEP students. Since LEP is not solely an ethnic category, we can quickly see that black students have led the charge in improving graduation rates across the board. Have you noticed anything else from this data? Only in 2015, the pale students, even with their substantially higher graduation rates previously, have been able to catch up to black students, although they still lag a bit behind them. It appears that JCS has been able to make great improvements to its system to better outcomes across the board. They still have a ways to go as far as making their students college or career ready, as you can see from this chart, but are definitely improving. This is not the picture of a failing school system, family. By the way, the levy voted on by the Gardendale city residents didn't appear on their tax bills until October of 2014 and thus wouldn't have been available to the council to disburse at all. We have to look deeper at the numbers, family. Remember, the devils live in the details. The JCS had for the 2015-2016 school year a total of 35,988 K-12 students. Of that number, black students were the majority of students at 17,017 or 47% compared to the pale students at 15,629 or 43%. Gardendale had, as of the last census, a population of 13,893, with 88.4% of the population, or 12,281, being pale people. Now, the census doesn't give a breakdown of the ethnicity of the children under 18, so we'll do a bit of math to get an estimate. Children under 18 as of the last census totaled 2,987 or 21.5% of the population of the city. We can extrapolate from the 88.4% of pale population that it's likely that around 2,641 of those children are pale folk. This is a good working number, and so we'll go with it. With the funding to even get a new school district up and running not being available until the funds levied in October 2014 and a subsequent rise in graduation rates across the board led by black students, but also reflected in pale students as well, the idea that somehow separating from JCS to better the outcomes of Gardendale students is nebulous at best, unless you understand the bigger picture. Here's a bombshell that isn't being discussed by anyone. Remember the levy and referendum in 2013 that authorized a raise in property taxes by $10 on every $1,000 of property value? Well, this new funding is going to be added to the already assessed $30 per $1,000 that they're paying to JCS. You didn't think that Gardendale was going to continue to pay for the education of these nappy-headed savages in JCS's district, did you? Come on now. In point of fact, that money that is going to a primarily black school district would be withdrawn to service a newly created, nearly all pale school district. Worst of all of the property tax money already allocated and spent by JCS that went toward educating their little pale monsters isn't going to be rebated back to JCS to compensate for black property taxes spent on them, now will it? You see, family, at the end of the day, without the system of whiteism, not only can they not compete, but they wouldn't be able to hide from the consequences of being thoroughly beaten on the field of education. So what is the solution? The solution is simple, family. We need to gather up funds and institute our own local, state, and federal political action committees to buy our own politicians. In the United Snakes, you have the best government your money can buy, no more and no less. We cannot afford to stand around funding systems that as soon as the pale people start whining and complaining, they take their ball and go home. Also, we need to seriously push for property tax relief and elimination as a type of reparations. We've been consistently sold the worst land, the worst properties at the highest prices, and when we are given loans, pay the highest interest rates, all the while being forced to fund the same system that exploits us. We have to explore every option of withdrawing our resources from feeding the beast, from nonprofit ownership of land, homes, and buildings, to religious organizations purchasing property for use by their members, and so on. One last solution is for us to go into charter and homeschooling in a big way. This is so easy to do that it's not funny, and especially charter schools, the district will even pay us to do this. No option to get these bastards' hands out of our pockets should be off of the table. Gardendale, Alabama has provided us with a patently clear lesson on how whiteism is played in the area of human activity known as education. Let's show them how much we've learned, family. We have work to do. This is your man, Mark Black. Please share this video and support my work. Until next time, love, peace, prosperity, and power. Real power to my people.